Hello, and welcome to another presentation. In this presentation, I will be explaining what dirty electricity is and what you can do about it. Do you suffer from anxiety, blood pressure issues, brain fog, burning sensation, depression, headaches, heart issues such as irregular heartbeat or chest pain, sleeplessness, vision problems? If so, you may be getting exposed to dirty electricity. This presentation will help you and provide you some remedy that will help with respect to dirty electricity. Many devices in our homes, such as fluorescent light bulbs, fluorescent light tubes, desktop computers, laptops, cordless phone systems, solar power systems, video game systems, Wi-Fi routers and modems, blenders and mixers, light dimmer switches, televisions, multi-speed fans, home entertainment systems, smart meters, and some appliances, as well as battery charging devices for cell phones and tablets, and some hairdryers, all have one thing in common. They use what's known as a switch mode power supply. Switch mode power supplies were adopted because a switch mode power supply can be made with very few inexpensive electronic components as opposed to using a iron core transformer. The iron core transformer is not only bulkier, bigger, heavier, it's also more expensive. So many of the electronics manufacturers decided to use lower voltages and switch mode power supplies to obtain the same result, but one thing that causes is dirty electricity. Your smart meter is also a source of dirty electricity. In this photograph we see a smart meter on the left hand side with the X under it, and then we see the preferred meter, which is an analog meter, on the right hand side of it. These meters are typical of the ones presented in the UK. Your meter might vary slightly, but if it has a digital display, more than likely it's a digital meter. Now, if you live in North America, such as the United States or Canada, you would have, if you're lucky, an old analog meter shown on the right, or more than likely, you have a smart meter shown on the left. Notice the smart meter has a digital display, whereas the analog meter has the aluminum wheel, similar to the ones that were shown on the previous slide. While these smart meters don't have a coil-like arrangement anymore, they use a inductive pickup and a power supply, which you're paying for the electricity, but that power supply is a switch mode power supply to run the electronics within the meter. Therein lies the problem. The more things we plug into the outlets in our home, the worse the dirty electricity is. Now, to measure dirty electricity, if you were very sophisticated, you would have a device such as the one shown here, which is known as a spectrum analyzer. With the spectrum analyzer, we can find out what frequencies are on the line, we can measure voltage, we can do a number of things, but very few people, unless they're in this type of field, would have such an instrument. This instrument is fairly expensive. So what does the homeowner do? Well, the homeowner can measure the dirty electricity by using a Greenway filter shown on the left, or a Stetzer meter shown on the right. Both these meters are technically performing the same function. Which one's more accurate? I haven't compared. I don't know. I don't care. The point is, we want to get that dirty electricity number as low as possible. Now, if we use the one that's on the right, notice it says 212. According to Graham Stetzer, which is the gentleman that designed and built the unit, any number over 50 is classified as deadly. Any building I've checked, depending on the time of the day, reads 470 maximum, and some places read as high as 1200. So given that fact, we know that we have a serious problem with dirty electricity, regardless of where you live or work. One of the things you can do, because of the dirty electricity is at a higher frequency, typically, than the electronic wiring that's in your building is made for, is you can install what is known as a ferrite core. Ferrite core shown on the screen simply clamps around the rubber portion of the electrical wiring that's in your home or business. And what it does is it tries to capture and save that dirty electricity from radiating into the room. These units can be purchased through Amazon or eBay and are generally sized to match the wire so that they're a snug clamping fit on the wire. In other words, you don't want to have a 3/4 inch or 18 millimeter, if you want to convert to metric, core diameter made for this ferrite core and put it around some wire that's 7/16 in diameter, which is slightly under 12 millimeters. It won't fit right and it'll be sloppy fit. However, if you get one that's close, you can simply wrap tape around the wire to make it slightly larger so that it's a nice snug fit, and the tension will hold this unit in place once it's closed. So what exactly is dirty electricity? Clean electricity comes from the power company as 60 cycle in North America or 50 cycle if you're in Europe. Now everything that's plugged into the electrical outlet, which has a switch mode power supply in it, contributes to this dirty electricity. I could go into a long explanation as to how and why, but the point is these switch mode power supplies are contributing to the dirty electricity. Your computer, your routers, your electronic devices that use a small transformer looking thing with a power supply on it, all these devices contribute to this dirty electricity, including complex fluorescent light bulbs and LED light bulbs. So to minimize this, you would need to change your electronics in your home. Well, the only thing we can do now, because all the electronics is now using switch mode power supplies, is potentially swap out the light bulbs to the old resistance type light bulb, incandescent lamp. It did not contribute to dirty electricity because it did not have some form of a power supply within it. What I've developed is a whole home power unit. This unit simply wires to your electrical panel, as close to your electrical panel as we can get it, with a plug. When the unit's provided, it has a male and female plug. The female plug would of course have a matching plug to the male plug, and you can simply wire the female plug to the electrical panel and then simply plug this unit in. This offers two functions. If you move, you can unplug the unit and take it with you. If you have two pieces of property, you can unplug the unit and take it with you. Simply plug it in at the preferred installation location. The unit shown here has been modified slightly for better performance. So what I'm showing you here today, your electrical unit, if you purchase one, may look slightly different. The function is the same. When I develop a product, I try to develop it so that it does the best job it can and still maintain reasonable cost. When I compared the whole home power unit with the Stetzer unit, it worked out like this. With no filter, the Stetzer meter read 470 GS units. And GS stands for Graham Stetzer units. It's something he developed. Now, if we install one Stetzer filter, it dropped it down from 470 down to 147 Graham Stetzer units. If we use my whole home power filter, it dropped it down to 30 Graham Stetzer units. Now, one of the issues if you buy Stetzer filters is you need to buy probably 8 or 10 of them for your whole entire house. That can get very expensive. My filter not only does a better job, it's also less expensive. So that's the benefit of using the whole home power filter. If you're interested in the whole home power filter power saver unit, please let me know via email your location and how many you would like. The unit made for the USA and Canada is provided with a male and female receptacle which can be wired to your main panel. The units that are made for the UK simply plug into the wall The cost of the unit is $300 plus freight Canadian, or if you want it in UK funds, it works out to 162.33 British pounds. Now, what you might do if you have a number of friends is order however many units you want, and then I'll ship to one location, and that will be one freight cost versus 10 people ordering it and having 10 separate freight costs. That's for you to decide. If you're interested in this unit, please send me an email, let me know your location, and I will provide you a freight quote, and if you choose to proceed, I will make these units up. I'm not going to make a whole series of these units. I had a number of them over the years and never marketed them to the UK. But this dirty electricity problem is only one of two major problems. Dirty electricity being the first one, and the second one being the cell tower transmissions from the 5G towers. What many people don't realize is those transmissions from those cell towers can get picked up like an antenna from the electrical wiring and from the wiring in your house. And so that also contributes. But this is one thing we can do within our own homes, as opposed to trying to challenge 5G, which is a totally separate task in and of itself. I thank you for listening to this presentation. I hope you found it useful. I look forward to bringing you additional information as the need dictates and as time permits. Thank you, and have a great day.